Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jim and Rob Overanalyze Movies, the live to tape video podcast for people who are looking for a deeper conversation about the films we watch today. And let's get into it. All right, everyone. Yes, we're going to have a great show today. A first-time feature film director, although she has been creating film work before that, television, short subject. It is, and I'm going to mispronounce the woman's name all of a sudden, Nyla Innuksuk, and her first feature, Slashback, from 2022. But before we get into this, I think it's time to welcome my co-host with the most, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jim Chaboyko. How you doing, my friend?
Good, although I can't find my Ulu.
Oh, wait. You get another one.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir. Jim, how are you doing? What's
Great.
new? What's shaking? What's shaking out in St. B, Manitoba, Canada?
Good. The weather is changing. I had a positive dental appointment this morning, and we got to watch this
Wonderful.
movie, which is a nice. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But things are pretty good. Halloween's coming up, so everyone, check your Turner Classic Movie schedule because they're showing all kinds of weird bangers, like super deep cuts, horror deep cuts. So that's kind of a fun time of year anyway.
Yeah.
How about you? How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm glad. Yes, we will talk about it later, but this film, and I think 40 Acres qualifies as a horror, although maybe a bit more of a thriller, a dark sci-fi thriller, but two Canadian films. With, not your standard white heroes at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to the winter and the fall. I'm looking forward to Jim predicting not who's going to win, because that's a sucker's bet, but I think it would be fun to do a show predicting of the films we've watched today and the films we'll watch over the next few months, which will get real Oscar buzz, which will be nominated for Best Picture. So that's a bit of a teaser, folks. Of course, before we really get into this show, I'm going to beg y'all for a like, a subscribe, and perhaps a ringy-ding of that bell.
Oh, is that my cue?
No, you're not even on the screen, so
There we go.
you get your shot later.
Sure.
But I do enjoy the fact that you wait, Jim, until the very end to go, oh, wait.
Timing.
Timing is everything. All
Timing,
right, folks, yes.
Steve Martin says.
We are talking about Nyla Innuksuk's film Slashback, came out in 2022. It is a sci-fi horror in the vein of The Thing. Except this is set in Nunavut, the far north, really in a small town, Pang, and I'm not going to pronounce the full name because I'll F that up completely, in Nunavut, just shy of the Arctic Circle, right in summer. So, of course, the sun's up all the time. Here's the two log lines for you, Jim. One's great. One's a banger. One's it's clanking away there. Guess which one I think's the banger. All right. First, from IMDb. In Nunavut, 4 girls who like horror and alien movies, love their phones, and even their poor elders who believe in shapeshifters because they didn't have the internet, realize local disappearances are linked to a shape-shifting alien. That's option 1. And then, of course, here's the one from the film distributor, Mongrel Media. In a remote Arctic community, a group of Inuit girls fight off an alien invasion, all while trying to make it to the coolest party in town. What do you... Which one do you think was my fave, Jim? Option 1 or option 2?
Well, I stopped option 1. I stopped listening about halfway through, and option 2, it could have been a haiku. So nice and concise, yeah.
Yeah, 1 is like trying to explain too much. The next one, it's like, well, now that's a movie I want to see.
Yes, yeah.
1, I think, the first one, maybe they're both. The first one is the worst one. It barely describes the movie it's talking about, except it just throws so much on the wall that you're like, well, yeah, that's kind of the show. And it does. Well, I'll come back to that later, put a pin in it. This one, though, in a remote Arctic community, that's just, I want to see that. Even if it isn't quite accurate, I want to see it. Jim, let's get it is just that. It really is about these 4 teens between 15 and 17 years old. There's some kid sisters involved, of course. That is, they shot what they weren't sure was an alien, or is it I think it's an Inuk or an Atuk, an Inuit or
the shape changer, the Ijirak.
Thank you. Then, of course, they go back to town. They get invited to this party by the hottest boy in school. And so that's where they're going. But, of course, the shape-shifting aliens have to crash the party, and we've got ourselves a movie as these girls have to take care of business. Good capture, I'd say.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Jim, before we get into the spoiler zone, is this a see it or a skip it for you?
I've got a real soft spot for this movie. Absolute see it. 2 things. Did it keep me interested? Did it show me anything different? Yes, on both counts. Even if it's just something like the setting. Yeah, it's such a neat movie. So yeah, it's a big see it for me.
Couldn't agree with you more. It is a big see it. I mean, it has its flaws. It's certainly, after a while, you see the budget or the lack thereof. You really start to see it in, I don't want to knock the performances because there's some cultural aspects to it as well. More the just maybe stretching out that last act.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure these characters survived, but there were still consequences. The politic of the film was solid. I just really wanted these girls, these young girls, to do what they needed to do to take care of business. I thought it had humor, like some great lines, just banger lines. I was using bait on those old pervs.
Oh yeah.
Some great lines, some real heartfelt moments, and the filmmakers really knew how to manage tension, especially given all the constraints they're operating under. Yeah, just mwah. Now, with that out of the way, let's do this, folks. Let's get into the spoiler zone. Jim, let's dive in first.
Sure.
To how they set this up. You said one of the things you mentioned was how it's showing you something different. What did you mean by that?
Primarily it's the setting, the geographical setting, and the fact that it helps that it's remote. But I can't. A lot of times we watch movies, and this is true as a kid as well. When I would stay up late to watch the late movie, you would watch something because it's different. It's not necessarily your standard run of the mill Hollywood made kind of thing. I don't know that I've watched anything set on Baffin Island except for maybe segments of a National Geographic show or travel programs or what have you. So it was sort of a treat to see them, and they use the landscape so well. And at times the landscape's almost like a trap, like they're in these sort of like tunnely valleys almost, or they're sort of surrounded by mountains, suggesting that there's not really a way out in a metaphorical way. And then just even in the throwaway shots, there's the sea is glistening in the background, and cool that way, and also cool in that we get to see the fictional or not, the inner workings of a remote Inuit community.
Yeah.
These kids on the longest day of the year, their parents go to the dance and they're sort of left to their own, and little things like that. And the fact, it reminds me of that Us Magazine's section that's like celebrities. They're just like us. This could be like Inuit. They're just like us. And they sort of sweat over Instagram, and they have conversations about pop culture just like we do, and talk about their future, like any other kid, and they adopt slang from other cultures like any other kid. It was
But even some of the fashion,
that part
right?
Was some of the fashion. Also, I made a little checklist here. I'll just go into my Word document and I'll read this off. What did I say? Throat singing, check. Ulu, check. Country food reference, check. Facial tattoos, check. When they got together to go hunting for the alien and put their...
They had their Western Magnificent Seven, the Guardians of the Galaxy moment where they get to march along.
Yeah, but also the setting up, that Shaun of the Dead, bing, bing, like the quick cuts to all the things that they're doing. And when they put the facial tattoos on with eyeliner, I just about fainted. Like it's just such a great I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then they it's a slow motion walk, which we've seen in 100 other movies and stuff. But
so what?
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly. It absolutely, like, I got chills. Like, I'm like, okay, go show them, girls. And how can you not root for these characters? It was such a neat moment. And more of this, please.
Well, and that's the thing. There are a lot of other film references here.
Mm.
It is, in many respects, The Thing.
Yeah.
But also a kind of, can I call it a critique of a thing? Or maybe it's its own The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
She made, Innuksuk made her own thing.
Yeah.
Which brings me to one of the few real criticisms I have of this film. Early on, the Jessie character, she is telling the other characters about a scene in The Thing, the John Carpenter version. And I'm like, you can have a million references, some really on the nose, give them all the same character names, whatever, but don't mention the other movie. That's and especially because I was already in. I'm like, okay, I'm getting into this. I'm feeling some of the tension. I'm getting to know some of the characters. I'm buying even the moment in the dock where the Micah, who's kind of a pill half the film, bullying her kid sister, Ayu. Yeah, bullying her kid sister. All I'm thinking is runs off. It's like, oh, she's squealing. But apparently, no, she's following. I'm there. And then all of a sudden there's Jessie telling everyone about the scene. And I'm like, let the movie stand on its own. And after that, there's no other reference. And the movie did stand on its own. Yeah. So if there is something I'd cut, it'd be that. But it's already with credits, 87 minutes. Could very well be they're like, oh, the broadcasters won't buy it if we cut it down to a tight
it's
76.
It's quicker than Steve Guttenberg's Fast 82, or even Good Boy, that horror movie from the dog's point of view, which is, I believe it's 72 minutes.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
European feature length.
Yeah, exactly. Feature length? Question mark?
But yeah, there was those references, like you can tell, I think in some ways, films that influenced a filmmaker or that they appreciated, that they enjoyed, because even the way that's like coming out of, I was thinking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, the way they wear the faces of the people they've taken over, you know, it's like, that's pretty solid. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think I sort of get I do get what you're saying. I never felt that it was entered into the derivative sphere at all. Yeah,
no,
and I'm not saying that you're saying that
and
either.
that's it. Like, there's great references.
Die Hard
references. Yeah, Die Hard.
They're just like us.
That one.
They see the same movies.
That one I thought worked better because they were making a dig.
Yeah.
You know? That's again, the only real criticism, I might have one other, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you didn't even need that part. Movie stands on its own. We already get what it is. You know, like by then you're like, oh, I know where we're going with this. I don't need to be primed. And for somebody who may have never seen the thing, let them discover that connection, that correspondence, that dialectic on their own.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's almost like, why are you putting it's not, you know, sometimes you put a lampshade on a problem. You had no problem and you decided to spotlight it. Say, that's all, look at this. Remember that movie that you might have seen or you've probably seen, or if you haven't seen, you're now going to want to see? Instead of the movie we're watching right now.
Sort of jokingly, I thought, after I finished watching it, I thought, what does the cast remind me of? And I thought, is this like an Inuit Facts of Life where you have Uki is like Joe and Micah is the popular mean girl. She's like Blair.
Yeah.
And then, you know, follow along anyway. But I'm just kidding really about that. But the thought did cross my mind.
Speaking of, though, mean girl, Blair Warner, I wouldn't quite put her in the Blair.
You remember her last name?
Oh, yes, I do. The Blair Warner of it all. I wouldn't put Micah there.
Yeah, I'm not serious about that. I was just
But I was almost thinking Lily, who's, I think, her actual, her name. What the hell?
Lena is the character's name.
Thank you.
I wrote them down, but they do call her Lily.
Yeah.
Because I knew I would confuse them unless I wrote them down. So,
what do you think though of their? Like, some of it's just they tease each other, like, you know, just kidding around, joshing around. But then every now and then they're like, like really hurt each other.
Yeah.
You know, what did you think of that dynamic when it came up?
Yeah, it was good. It was consistent. They're sort of on each other in different combinations as well. You know, it'll be. I think Jesse and Micah were fighting at one point, and of course the main conflict is sort of Uki and everyone else, but Uki and Micah.
Yeah.
But even when they're in the midst of the hut, they're arguing over this boy Tomasi. Yeah. And the line, I actually wrote it down. If you just bear with me one sec. Somebody says, can we go back to hunting and blood-sucking aliens? As opposed to
can we just go back to that? We've got an agenda.
This terrifying existential crisis
becomes the thing to get out of the really uncomfortable conversation, which is kind of awesome.
And they push it, like they don't make Micah, it's at the party. She starts sort of dumping on the guy, the pictures in the guy's house, and he's like, my mom made that, and things like that. And she's getting more and more unpleasant. And then when she's trying to take down,
as she's digging the hole deeper, all her insecurities, her embarrassment about her dad selling meat, country food.
Yeah.
Country food. What do you mean by country food?
And
I went out into the country and I shot it.
In tearing apart Uki, she comes across as super mean, and I can't think that anybody would think positive of it. Like, oh, you don't have a dad, and and that can't have sat well. And another credit to this movie is the kids aren't that default mean teenager. Like, not even Thomas. He's the default sort of young guy. Who's typically a bit of a pig and not very helpful. He's a quiet dude. He's kind of nervous, and it was so pleasant to see that that he wasn't your typical kind of studly, star quarterback kind of thing. And he also cheers for the Habs, so that's a good point for him. But so a lot of the kids around them didn't really react. I mean, there was a couple of gossipy girls you could see, but it didn't default to that typical mean teenager thing, which I felt refreshing.
Especially at that party where the boys are playing video games, the girls are sitting there on the phones, talking to each other, this lame party, and I'm like,
so cool.
Oh, I remember that. And Micah going, this is so cool, because she's the one who really wants to be there. Jesse wants to be there, but, like a lot of, as a chunky kid myself, you're even quieter in those situations.
Yeah.
At the same time, you really want to be there. Which makes me think, Jim, what did you think of the way Micah, that dynamic that they sort of set up where Micah's because she really goes in on, the Inuit art, country food versus KFC. You can imagine how much that would cost up there. Like, what is a quart of milk? What does a 4 liter of milk cost? $30?
Yeah, 16,
maybe
20,
more,
30,
some crazy amount. And that's just northern Manitoba. I can't imagine what it is up there, right?
This is actually on Baffin Island, so it's the next peninsula over from the Iqaluit, the capital of Nunavut. So, pretty remote.
Just everything's flown in, But she also seems to, so it's a weird class thing. It's also just the nerves of, you want to almost, I'm going to crap on my competition. I'm going to talk about how cool and above it all I am. And there's is it Thomasy?
Thomasy,
yeah. Thomasy. My mom did that. Where did you? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
He's not even really all that mad. He's just sort of like everything else. No. He's awkward about it, which again is kind of atypical, but refreshing.
Even, a great character. The way she had him play him, the way the director had the young man play that character, the way he was written, for lack of a better word. Even when they're like, can we borrow your Honda? He's like, you can feel I just got this.
Do I have a choice?
Yeah. And then of course they bugger off, because it's fine. Later on, they give him a chance because he isn't a tool. He's not some violent tool, a jock tool, so they give him, because he is drawn that way, his coming back later feels more real.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah. And he he returns and he's like, like, what can I do? And yeah, it was nice to see him back. And it just, I think he's a supporting character. He's not one of the main ones, but he sort of had his own little arc there, his own agency, and ended up helping out. I quite like the choices that were made here. Not a lot of them were tiring. That typical kind of like side quest or side conflict that you get sometimes in movies. I bought it. Yeah.
What did you think of the Lily character, the rich girl? Mm-hmm. The only one where it's like, how much data do you have? I don't know. My parents pay for it.
Yeah.
What did you think of the way they handled her, especially as she is one who halfway through kind of checks out of the quest?
Yeah, that was interesting, and they didn't really go back to sort of check on her. Like there was no sort of like, oh, the aliens are going back to the Queenie's trailer or wherever they were holed up. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she's just sort of is left with the children. She's the nervous type. We're told so. And is she the first to admit that she's scared?
Yes.
Yeah.
She does. But they're all actually pretty good at that.
Oh, yeah.
It is still for girls, young women, but, well, they're all teenagers and I'm 58. Girls. Heck, I was in my early 40s when these kids were born.
Yeah.
when their imaginary births happened. Of course, early on, a Winnipeg shout out, the big city.
I screen capped that. They I can't post it to YouTube, but it actually, I'll give you the line exactly. It is, this chick gets to go to Winnipeg every year, and then the next line is, what a lucky girl, or something.
Now, I do believe the director, like, she's from up there.
Yeah.
Nunavut, but basically the way I read her, she's in Toronto now. So part of me is like, I want to get her on the show, Jim, to kind of go, just to be appreciative of not one time did any character go, yeah, I've been there myself. It's not that big a deal. Because I'm sure for Innuksuk, it's like, well, I've now seen some places. I've traveled the world. I know what Winnipeg is.
Yeah. Yeah, as a kid, the thing that's interesting about Thomasy's Montreal Canadiens jacket is that when you get up north, evidently, there's sort of, I guess it would be longitudinal. So longitudinal sort of loyalties to various hockey teams. So the farther out west you go, the more they're likely to cheer for the Oilers. I don't know if Jets really apply, but because so many Inuit and so many people from up north go down to Ottawa, apparently the Senators are a big team there. And then you always see the Canadians in a lot of different settings too.
Any Maple Leafs, or has that not been a...
I can't, I don't know enough about the area, but I just know there's almost like little bands of loyalty going all the way up north. And so that was sort of interesting and usually representing a city that they're familiar with when they do go down south for medical appointments or what have you. In Winnipeg here, people who are watching may not know there are various places where Inuit, they're like Inuit community centers, basically. And, if they're getting medical attention down here, their families can stay there and that sort of thing too. So,
and even further, not as far north as even Churchill, but a lot of First Nations folks, Cree, OG Cree, and that coming to Winnipeg for goods and services, the big shop.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this when you were a kid here in Winnipeg, folks, for those watching that are seeing this on the repeat. Here in Winnipeg, we have a thing called the Red River X. It's kind of the county fair. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I remember it being a big deal when I was a little kid going to it. Get older, the thing moves to just outside of Winnipeg. I mean, it's still within the legal city limits, but it feels like it moved away to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you get a little older, you have different entertainments. The fair is no longer the big draw. This woman I was dating, this maybe 10, 15 years ago, I'm like, I want to go to the X. She did not want to go, Jim. But I nagged and whined. We went to the X. Rob wants a corn dog. Rob ate half a corn dog and went, this is disgusting. But checked it out. And what blew my mind that I don't remember as a kid, and I don't know if that's because things have changed, but I was like, wow, there are a lot of First Nations folks, a lot of folks I assume are Inuit, or not 100% sure, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? I guess this is like, I don't know about you. I always thought somebody was rich if they could go to a city with a Six Flags in the States.
Yeah.
So this must be, this is their big summer outing. Go to Winnipeg, go do the shop that you want to shop, grab the stuff you need, and you take the kids to the Red River X.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, it's visually
not sure
impressive.
What this has to do with the movie we're talking about, but
our connections to the Inuit culture. I got one for you, is that I was asked to be Santa Claus at the Forks. I can't even remember how this happened, but I did it one year, and I was so young. Like I don't know, 35 maybe. Anyway, I was asked to be Santa Claus, and a lot of Inuit families, a lot with their particular clothing. Those I don't know what they call that, the sealskin parkas with the wraparounds for the babies and that kind of thing. And just a couple Saturdays before Christmas. So there's sort of what, makes the city rich, and I kind of dig it. But that's
apparently so you basically met the Leelys of their communities who got to come down to Winnipeg every year, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's just a great moment. All right. Speaking of it, let's get back to Slashback. What did coming back to Micah, though, she is the protagonist of the film, and she's got her friends, and they have their own thing going on, their own desires. Coming back to the Leela or Lily. Yeah, Lena, her character, I wonder if part of the reason they kind of carve her out early, and then they do come back again. She, like Thomasy, gets an opportunity, not necessarily to be redeemed, but thinking Lord of the Rings, when some of the folks, they're going up for the final battle to draw Sauron's eye away from the ring bearers.
Oh, yeah,
and some of these soldiers got scared. And so they were given a mission so that they could still retain their manhood.
Yeah.
But more appropriate to their ability to face fear. I think of that, what I think of Lena getting that opportunity to go, I'll go check the door, because it could be the monsters who came back. They don't let Ayu do it. She's like, no, this is my responsibility. It's like a moment of, oh, right, she does exist, and she's not a shit.
Yeah. And she's taking care of the kids. I mean, she's done.
Somebody's got to stick with them.
Yeah.
Which, keep coming back to Micah, but maybe I'll just, instead of forever just trying to shoehorn Micah into it, I want to talk about class in this small community, and also our own history. Because I mean, you and I we did not grow up in wealthy homes. We were not upper middle class. We grew up in Le Village, a housing co-op. My folks were working poor. I remember in the village, it's like, oh, children taking care of children, older children taking care of younger children.
Oh, yeah.
And here, that was everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm buying all this. Even the parents going, oh, they're going to come back and get drunk.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, yep, check, check, check. And it maybe one of the reasons I'll have a soft spot for this film for the rest of my natural life is it's like, yeah, it feels real. And without judgment, I can't believe these children are, even right down to the Lena getting grounded, because, they were all, shouldn't have gone out on the land. Sure, one's got a gun, but
it's dangerous.
Apparently not the best of shots.
Yeah.
She may have been taught how to hunt, but her shooting was not exemplary.
I mean, it's better than a stormtrooper, but that's a pretty low bar.
Very low. But I think there is it's interesting that Innuksuk has, there is class here, and how it can affect a young woman. It was about young. It affects young guys too, but how it affected Micah, and even to a degree, because you could say not as much Jesse, but Yuki is definitely almost the way we grew up is great. Pang is great, and I am the most loved person here because I'm the hero of the community. But she almost represents like a whole different way of living.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and trying to rip off children out of their $15, some scam.
Yeah, you can use my phone some of the time.
You can hang out with me when you're using my phone. When I let you use my phone, it's like, oh, child, you're about to get screwed.
Yeah.
But even that, I was like, that felt real.
Yeah. Low stakes, like the whole. How many controversies about marbles did we have when we were living in the village Canadian? Yeah. They took my Crocs or whatever, that was my best one.
I remember, oh my goodness, I was 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe right in that, somewhere in there, and not as young as 8, I don't think, but whatever. I remember I got hustled by some, probably a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Out of all my marbles. Because I'm 11, 10, no control. It's one of my first lessons on gambling. But also, one of my first times, the parents were like, I want to go find that kid and get your marbles back because something wrong happened here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I screwed my kid brothers out of stuff. No, really, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I remember my Aunt Bobby, my stepmother's kid sister, gave me a deal, much like Yuki offered Ayu, over buying my stepmother a birthday gift. Oh, we'll do halfers. And so, boy, my dad was pissed. It's like, you paid for that. What the hell was she doing? Jeez. What do you mean you lent her money? But only half of it.
I mean, I think that's a way for the storytellers to suggest that, no kid here is an angel. Is that they're capable, and Micah's got her faults and they're
but it makes them real.
Yeah. They're not just, your standard likable kid or your Lizzie McGuire whose main kind of fault is that she's clumsy or whatever, they actually they're actively nasty in some ways, but then they have redeeming qualities, like most other humans. And even their fights, they're kind of frenemies or something, but you know, they'll turn on each other and then they'll be cool, 5 minutes
and
later.
the 3-on-1s, and that kind of goes around. Who's gonna be Yuki usually? But it's like, oh, this could go on any of them at any time.
Yeah.
Even the thing about the boy and who likes who, and it's like, Micah, I don't really like him. That's a lie. We saw you acting like all cool, too cool for school at the party you desperately wanted to go to.
The perfume.
Yeah. Who are you wearing that perfume for? I just wear it to feel fresh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Got some killer lines.
And just that big awkward wall as soon as you get in the thing. That was perfect. Like, you said earlier that I've been there. I've been there myself. The big, super awkward. Nobody's got any chemistry with anybody, and they're just sort of like walking into each other and
just forever nervous. Even the way, coming back to the politics for a bit, Lefebvre, the douchebag cop, first to go down. But I know that the thing about the beast is because it's smelling blood, but there's a part of me thinking, of course the cop would go roust even as a zombie, even as controlled by an alien, it's like, oh, let's go bully some kids.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go finish the bullying that my boss, the local cop, interfered with when I was a human being.
Yeah. Yes. It's the kind of the way.
Is there what's left of him biologically is still willing to, I guess you're the new one in charge. I know where they are. I'll show you.
Yeah. No, it's funny that there's not a lot of white folks in this, and they're both kind of, the scientist that gets it at the start.
Yeah.
And the cop, they're kind of knobs or whatever. But it's funny too, the whole Peters is the more reasonable law enforcement officer, the Inuit woman. Yeah. But Lefebvre is kind of your typical smarmy, and he's smoking up. I don't know if
he's a dick.
Yeah.
Just a thug cop from the South.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could cite you here, kid. I could write up a ticket for anything.
He doesn't have a helmet.
Yeah.
How many of them have a helmet? But whereas Peter, she takes on, much like that fisherman, one of the first ones to get it, how he's like, I'll screw up the titling. So really it's, does your mother know you're taking the boat out? Do your parents know? That small town minding. It's like, oh, those kids, I don't see anyone minding their business. I should mind their business.
Yeah.
And how easily these children lie.
Yeah.
Even IU at the end, because I got to admit, the one part I was like, oh, maybe that's a cultural thing. Because if it was like my younger brothers with the youngest, they're always like, oh, he'll tell. Ryan will tell. And Ryan would squeal, like just first chance he got. Sometimes he volunteered it. Just, oh, you know what they did? Me and David, I'd be like bringing him along because otherwise he'd squeal.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's IU coming up with a great story. I'm like, right on.
Yeah.
I don't believe you, but I like you already, so I'm going along with this.
Yeah. The kids were good. The kids were.
You dime your big sister out.
Yeah. It was just a neat kind of a portrayal of a community, and you sort of have that layered on top of this alien thing. The other thing too I was going to say is that the portrayal of the aliens, some of the effects were better than the others. I like that sort of they obviously had some sort of gymnast as the zombie sort of human alien hybrid, because that walking backwards and all that kind of stuff, whether it was walking backwards or not,
Yep.
that was pretty like like if I saw that coming towards me, it would be alarming. But the fact that you're dealing with the Inuit culture, and it deals with the sea and what's on the land, and the country food is all organic, and the spaceship, no metal, as far as I could tell, no steel. It's this, like, everything underneath is this sort of organic kind of, different kind of a life form, but it's not, it's like the opposite of the xenomorph from Aliens.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of H.R. Geiger thing, but it could be of the land. You could see it on another planet, is what I'm saying. So the design there, I thought, was fairly cool. And the decision to make it sort of an organic thing was kind of cool.
Yeah. What did you think of the, like, if I were to put a theme on this, it's certainly, I think emotionally, it's still really about a kid growing up.
Mm-hmm.
The kids, it is, they're still, it's growing up. Micah, especially, she is the one with the most, let's say, lessons to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
Respecting her father, respecting her past, her cultural, it is interesting, from running down Inuit art to the "and no justice on stolen land" leather jacket.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking, it's like, it's a movie that's chosen. It wasn't I found this leather jacket in the Goodwill.
Yeah.
But it's also, at its heart, though, where is she? I'm just a hunter, like my father. That connection to her family, and that's a part of growing up. Kind of going on, why am I ashamed of who I am?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd add to that? Or
I'd say the main struggle is, aside from, fending off aliens and saving the world, I'd say the main struggle is Micah accepting her own culture. She is a hunter. She has hunted. She's been given, if this was a fantasy story, she'd be given magical weapons, the grandfather's spear, was it, or harpoon?
Yeah.
And it's her,
and they are magic, like a sympathetic magic.
Yeah. And she's got that choice to either embrace it or reject it, and she's right on that. She's closer to rejecting it.
Yeah.
But when the cop alien hybrid chases Uki up the stairs in that house, she attacks it with an ulu, and I think that's
she grabbed off the wall.
That she was joking about earlier. Yeah. And then she also does other things, and she's even. Once they're into it, she's even like, I don't know if I want the facial tattoos, and the Jesse says, nobody fucks with the girls from Pang. And I was just like, fuck yeah,
right?
Yeah. And so that was a great moment.
It's like the Canadian Dairy Girls, with aliens and.
Yeah, and she sort of. Reluctantly goes along with it, but you can see her sort of accepting it as she goes along, and I think that, and then 1 month later, she's working at selling the country food from the
that's
taco
good
truck or whatever,
it's
but
good country food.
Yeah. So
and I'm just a hunter. I'm a humble hunter. Well, Uki says, I am the only reason, I'm the first. No one believed me. Follow me. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, she's right in it. And that's, that's that kind of, that it's like an aspect of aging, as you go through your teenage years. Yeah, you turn your back on some things, but there's a really nice shot earlier on, and the movie's full of these nice shots that she's fishing, or she's going out on a hunting tour on the boat with her father, and it just
when
shows
she's a little girl.
her little boots on a milk crate,
Yeah.
so she can see over and it's just a little shot, just a couple seconds, just
Yeah.
a milk crate in her boots. And I thought, nice. That's a nice little speaks to, how deep she is into this
Well, her past.
Yes,
and now her future. What do we get at the end is like in the denouement, her dad saying, I think we should go back. It's let's keep going.
Yeah.
And you feel it because she has grown up.
And she's the deepest of the four. She's the one that's deepest in that kind of culture. The others are, but she's the one that, I mean, even Thomasy says, can you teach me? The boy Thomasy says, hey, can you take me out?
My mom says he's the best hunter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
well, I wonder if it's she is the, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what? I don't know what I'm going for there. If it's worthwhile, I'll come back to it, or I'll do it in a revisit. Let me ask you this. There is, and this is, I think, okay, this is the Marxist in me. Let's see, folks, I'll put a pin in this in our video on Tron. Our See It or Skip It on Tron, which I've finally finished editing, will be out within 24 hours. May already be out now. Pinned here. That's the same look Jim gave me then when I said, as the resident Marxist of Jim and Rob overanalyze movies, what you could say about a lot of films that even have some of my politic. There's rarely at the end a call to action. And if I were to, this is getting into theory weeds here. It's always, I think, a problem when you have a character like Micah who is, in a sense, born to it.
Yeah.
Because that's like, well, where is the invitation for other people to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that call to action? But that's, again, I'm getting in theory weeds. But here, at least in this film, what is at the end? It's slashback, land back.
Yeah.
It's not just the leather jacket. There's an overt call for something, for something that is to the audience after the movie's over. You're watching it, and it's right up front before a credit rolls.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, wait, that's for me. I'm in the audience. That's for me. That is that's not a thing. Characters, I am at a remove. That's between Jesse and Micah. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just a guy in the audience. It's like, oh, that's for me. And I got to admit, I liked that.
Yeah.
That she's being more overt.
Yeah.
In that, and that the film, while I wouldn't say the film is about land back. It's not about that. But it certainly supports it. You could say it's a why.
Mm.
What do you think? Like,
yeah,
let's put you on the spot, Jim.
No, it's a couple of the victims, two of the white guys, are not from there. And there's actually, is the body count very high in this? I think there's 3, 4. The other cop, the man on the dock, who total guy in the harbor. Hey, are you kids all right? Vibe from Jaws.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Great Jaws reference.
So I think there's about 4 people, and 2 of them are outsiders who are not familiar with the land and don't know what belongs and what doesn't, or what to look out for.
Yeah.
They both get caught by surprise. One of them is not fair because it's sort of like a disguised polar bear. But the other one is like, "Ooh, what's this? I'm going to stick my head in this hole," and then zorch. But
even the disguised polar bear
Yeah.
All the kids know to shoot it. Here he is looking at it thinking he's going to scare it off.
Oh, yeah.
A woman, heck, Katie Fowler has been on the show.
Mm-hmm.
When she was doing her master's, she went not as far north as these folks are. She went up to Churchill. If she wanted to go to a certain center, it's you must take this shotgun with you. Mm-hmm. You get a bit of basic training. You have to have a gun with you because the polar bears will stalk you and eat you.
Oh, yeah.
And so here's this dumb cop getting eaten by a polar bear because he's too busy thinking he can tell it what to do. Don't you know who I think I am? Respect the badge.
The marijuana might not have been a good idea either. But
was it reefer though? I thought it was just a cigarette.
He was treating it. He was sort of stroking it and working on the.
I thought it was more like a roll, like an old time.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to watch it again.
Well,
I'll be fine with that. I might do a double feature, this and Space Sweepers, because it's got the same. There's a bit of goofy vibe to both.
Yeah.
Unlike 40 Acres and I think an infinitely better film, Blood Quantum, where they take themselves very seriously, and the politic of their politics very serious. It's very earnest. This is not an earnest film.
Yeah.
It's light on its feet. It wears itself lighter. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense, there's some people who can. It's like it just wears. It wears itself.
Skin.
Yeah. Well, better than the monster, better than the alien does of Lefebvre's face or any of their faces.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. Back to what you're saying though. It's the fisherman, the cop.
Yeah.
The scientist, and the scientist, he has his douche move about the gloves. There you are. I'm in charge. I'm dominating. Maybe the closest on the nose moment. I think they just got really lucky with the performer who gave it a bit of tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
And what otherwise could have been a really bad scene worked.
But there's an aspect to this that the folks...
Peters, who does not get zombified.
Yeah, no. That's true. You don't see her. But they're basically the guardians of the land, the people in Pang. And I think that there's a responsibility there. We got to take care. I mean, the ultimate outsider, right, is the ultimate destructive outsider are these aliens. What I find interesting about this is that it just happened to be close to Pang. There's a lot of land out there. So this suggests, if you build the earth around this story, maybe this goes on a lot and we just never see it, right? Because it's eating seals or whatever.
Yeah.
These creatures or what have you. And no human ever sees them.
It does go away to somewhere.
Yeah.
But apparently, mind you, they're teenagers. They're high school girls. They're like, well, it's not here.
Yeah, that done.
Who's gonna take Thomasy to the next dance?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One more thing. What did you think of? Maybe the better way to put this is, I do think at times there are some shots, some moments where it's like, have they been, this beast has been in their house. Have they been just sitting there? Was the grandpa just sitting there the whole time? Mm-hmm. Where was, I know most of the adults went to the dance.
Yeah.
But there are moments where the kids are just sitting there. Well, I guess we're just going to watch the creepy beast come in and then chase after the sister. And I'm seeing things, I have to rewatch it maybe, but I do think there are moments like that where I'm like, are they leaving that in or is that there? Because they're like, they need to stretch this out. Not necessarily to meet a total length thing, but to add to tension. Because if you cut it too quick, all of a sudden you're not even that worried before it's over now.
Yeah, yeah.
But what do you think?
Well, in terms of I think.
Well, did you even notice what I'm talking about, or is that maybe just me?
Yeah, I didn't see anything like that bothered me. The aliens were very specifically seeming to target certain characters, and maybe other characters picked up on that. I'm not sure, or maybe it was just so
shocking.
Yeah. Maybe it was just so. Just it caught everyone flat-footed, or what have you. But even when the cop came in, it wasn't until like his tentacles came out. Then then there's a cut where the tentacles come out to the party when the cop invades the party, and then they go.
I even think that we hear cops, first.
And,
they're
like
Jesus, the fuzz.
There, but they don't really react. They're not like I'm out of here until the tentacles come out. They're like, oh, that guy's skin is not really on his face. That kind of looks weird. Oh, tentacles, I'm out.
Well, that I was totally buying in part because it is like it's a bully cop. Mm-hmm. Another thing and also she touches on it lightly, but she does touch on it. Some of these kids may be used to a drunk stumbling in at home. Like, it's and I don't mean it's a fact of Northern life. That's a fact of life, And
they don't shy away from it either. I mean, they say,
that's it. They touch it lightly, but it does exist. And even the way the kids deal with it feels more real, legitimate, not a after school special. Yeah. And then my father.
Yeah.
Like whispers, like very Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Handles this stuff differently. The kids are too clean. There's like maybe an Eddie Haskell where it's but he's troubled because his parents are the Trown drunk is the one who beats that child.
Yeah.
As opposed to, no, we're in a community and there's a whole range of people.
Yeah.
Including Lena and her mother. It's like, that's the price you pay for your mother paying for your phone. You have to hand it over.
Except for Yuki, I think most of these
got
families...
a grandma that they're all terrified of because she's...
Yeah.
Come stay with me. Let me bore you with my tales.
I know all boys like hard candy from The Simpsons, but aside from Yuki, I think most of their families are pretty functional as well. Give or take a divorce or something. Who knows? But I'm not saying like it's a whole bunch of dysfunction. No.
Like, it coming back to again what growing up in Le Village, it's like, you saw all that in Le Village. But mostly people, to varying degrees, getting by and enjoying and stumbling and all the other bullshit that goes along with it. Don't go down by the river. All right.
Yeah.
Where were you tonight? Down by the river?
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't go by it. We crossed it. But we thought the ice was pretty solid. Look, we didn't fall in once.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean it's April? Oh, yeah.
And seeing at times snow and ice and water and no one falling in and somehow staying dry.
Yeah.
Because that's got to be stupid cold even at the height of summer.
Yeah.
That's like...
That's not warming up.
Yeah, that's not... There's no, let's go to the swimming hole.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do a polar bear plunge. Well, I don't know. Last person that did that had a heart attack, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Jim, I think it is time for... Final thoughts. tell us, Jim. Tell us, give us your roundup of this flick, and anything else you want to add before we wrap it up.
Great movie. It's on Hoopla, and for Canadians, it's on Gem, the CBC streaming service. It's in Hoopla in Canada anyway. But yeah, totally worth your time if you're looking for something different for Halloween and you've seen them all and you don't want to rewatch anything. This is a good one. I just wanted to also suggest you might want to turn on the subtitles. I just brought up my my Word document here. Because they have Inuit words, and if you take the time to translate them, there's the scene where the alien comes in the house and confronts the little girl, Aju. I think it's Aju.
Ayu, yeah.
And she says something to it. Of course, it starts with Q, so I looked it up, and she walks up to her. She says, "How are you?" Like it's their traditional greeting. And she's just like, "What else do I say to this guy?
What do you got?"
But so that was kind of like, oh, there's a little joke I might have sort of missed, but there's lots of like, there's cool pronunciations, there's the throat singing music, of course, but there's words. Canu pit is how are you, but there's Kalupalik, Mahaha, and Irayuk, which are different monsters from the mythology there. And there's tons of stuff that if you take the time and look it up, it's ultimately rewarding anyway.
Yeah. There's one, it is right midpoint, the big midpoint turn where Micah's running down the Inuit art. And she says something. I replayed it a couple of times.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, my subtitles weren't working as effectively as yours because I had them on the whole movie. It sounds like colonist, but it's guilty something, but it wasn't colonist. It just kind of sounded like it.
Oh.
Guilty, white guy, gringo. I don't know what it was, but it was right at the moment about
Calunat.
Callan, thank you. Did you?
It's a Qallunat, I think.
Okay.
It just means white person, basically.
Oh, okay.
There might be some inferred meaning there, but yeah.
But you can just guilty white person. Okay. For me, Jim, fantastic little film. Don't let the low budget scare you off. It also don't let what you might think of as a performance or stuff. There is cultural things going on here. The deadpan, or what you and I might call deadpan, certainly very like First Nations, that kind of lower delivery. Even when these kids are getting mad at each other, there is a lower arc. Their volumes are lower. Don't swear as much. Like they're just not. It's not screaming. It's not crying. Like everything. Their parents, but even their parents, even when they're mad, like when Lena's mom, obviously furious, is just giving the lecture.
Yeah,
you're grounded, and everyone's just that. I think is another reason to see it, because you're seeing a whole different way of people interacting with each other.
Yeah.
Of people who have managed to maintain, notwithstanding all the, we got a Honda.
Yeah.
Have managed to maintain their own worldview, their own identity, as much pressure as there is to let it go, to give it up, to go for KFC. I've managed to maintain it. And this is an opportunity to experience it in a more visceral way, which is awesome. Kind of a bit of cultural tourism for you folks.
Yeah.
And there is a political call to action. It is not, well, I would say, unlike Barnaby's work, which is a lot more overt, Miss Innuksuk is, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, she is certainly not making this saying, don't worry, Whitey, we're fine.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's not a show for us to, can't afford to go up north to be guilty and buy Inuit stuff. Here's some cultural products you can consume in the comfort of your Winnipeg home. It's not that. But that doesn't mean you can't have that experience. Like any film that's outside of your own cultural milieu, it's just a great experience. You see actors and directors whose tricks you don't know. We've said this before. What do you like to say, Jim? Every time you see and I'm going to say, let's put some air quotes on foreign.
Yeah.
One could say we're the foreigners here.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we see a film outside of our own culture, outside of that standard North American, it's really American milieu, it's like, well, what do you say again?
Yeah, you see people that you don't see, you haven't seen before.
Wasn't what I was fishing for here.
Oh, sorry.
Every time I see that, Jim would always say, folks.
What would I say?
Every time I see that, I see a foreign film, a film outside of the standard box, I want to see more.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's part of it too.
All right. Anyway, this was a great show, folks. I will ask you all one more time for a like, a subscribe, and here's your cue, Jim. A ringy-dingy of that bell. Ooh, we got the timing down there. Bam. We deserve that. All right. I think that's about it. We're going to check out. I want to say goodnight, but this is all live to tape.
Yeah.
Good.
Have a great night, folks.
Good morning, good day, good night, wherever you might be.
Later.